Hi guys, my name is Catherine. For those of you who are coming here for the first time, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to hear my true story tells. Today I'm going to tell you about a story of some lady from Kenya who went to work in the Gulf as a spa therapist. Yeah, an African lady went to work in Kenya as a spa therapist. You know what a spa therapist? Spa therapists are these people who go to work in wellness spas or just massage parlors. Okay, for those of you who've never been to a spa, which means Sunny Pro Aqua, it's a place where people go to relax, unwind, just get off steam by getting a massage. There's so many different types of massages, body scrubs, facials, name it. And normally it's for those people mostly who have kind of some extra cash to spend because it's just some superfluous thing. Although for some it's a necessity, like they have to go to the spa. So back in Kenya, she was working as a massage therapist. In Africa, there are not so many five-star spas. Let me not spoil. There are very good spas, yes, but majority of them are not really like this high class where you expect, professional standards to be happening in there. So most of them are in for quick money. Most of the spas around, small spas around the streets. But now she had been called to work in the Gulf. Let's be specific in which country. The Qatar. She was supposed to come and work in Qatar as a therapist, masseuse. She was going to do massages. She was going to do facials because she'd been trained to do this. Now, when you go to work in the Gulf, you're gonna meet so many nationalities. Now, like in Qatar, she had to work with a lot of people and a lot of nationalities, and the Asian nationality is very competitive when it comes to, massage therapists. She had to work with people from Thailand, and now these are the experts, so they believe. These are the experts of the massage therapy. That's what most Qataris believe. Then we have the Europeans, we have the Indonesians, we have the Filipinos, we have the Indians. Now, one funny thing is that in the Gulf, the people have even, the locals have even categorized the therapists themselves. You know what they say? They will say, Thailand is very good in massage, and it's very hard for you, if you're not a Thai person, to be recommended, for the guests to accept you for a massage, to massage them. Then they say, white ladies for facials, as in to clean your face. Arabic ladies for Moroccan hammam, as in they scrub your body so well that you come out feeling like you have a new skin generally. And then they say hair is for Lebanese. So this is the tough competition this lady was coming to face. Let's name her Wangui, because she comes from the central part of Kenya where they love money. And so when she saw this offer of Qatar, she knew that she had that people working in this area, in this country, really make a lot of money. And so she jumped on the offer immediately. Already the spa was already in process, like it had been around for some time, and just they needed a replacement for somebody who had left. And this person who had left happened to come from Africa as well, but not really Kenya. This person came from South Africa. So they thought it good to replace with another African for those who love massage from the Africans. So this, did we call her Wangui or whatever? This Wangui came to Qatar finally, and was really surprised at the high standards of the spas, Not like these local small ones that, maybe they're recycling towels. When you look at the massage bed, you will not book. You will pretend that you don't have the money after seeing the massage bed. So these are high class. The beds, adjustable, warmed, things like that. The aroma itself is so enticing. She couldn't believe she was coming to work in such a place. And her salary itself was so good. But one thing she didn't know was that there is a lot of competition amongst therapists, especially in the Gulf. When they see a new therapist, they will view her as a competition because they will think she's coming to take away their regular clients. That's exactly what goes on in their heads. And the more attractive she is, the more scared they get. Well, this Wangui was actually attractive. More attractive than the other South African, the other African who was there. And this put the other therapists on alert. They had to take good care of their guests. But one thing that made them happy was that when this Wangui was tested to see her skills in massage, she wasn't as good as they were because she was not so experienced because, not so many people in Kenya are so interested in massage. They're more interested in a meal on the table than go and have a massage. Ugali, githeri, where's my food? Not for massage. So where she wasn't getting so many clients, so her skills were not so good. But they were so desperate for, they need to meet their target in the revenue. So they had to let her start work immediately, but the others were so confident that, there's no competition here. She's not gonna get any clients. First, she's African. Second, she's not so skilled. Things like that. So, she was let to start her work. Her first client was a man, generally, was an Arabic guy. Okay, most of the guys in Qatar, Arabic, it's an Arabic country anyway. So her first client was a male client. And the receptionist who was there was expecting some negative feedback after the massage. So when the guest finished, in her unprofessional way, she just began to tell the guest, I'm sorry, but she's the only one we had. So the guest was wondering, what are you talking about? The guest, to her surprise, told her that he really enjoyed the massage and he would like to do with her again when he comes back. The receptionist was perturbed, a little bit jealous and things like that. How? Because she knew that during the training, she was not so good. And how come this guest is recommending her? Very interesting. Then, Wangui's next guest was a lady. She did the normal massage, blah, blah, things like that. Finished massage very fast. And the receptionist, as well as normal as per the standard, asked her, how was the massage? And the lady was like, it was okay, okay. Just okay? Yeah, it was good, These people are so nice sometimes in the Gulf. They don't want to say, this is not so perfect or something like that. They'll just say nice. Because they know that this person is out to look for money, things like that. So they don't want to spoil her life. Some are that good, but others are not that good. So weeks passed, months passed, and funny enough, she was getting very good tips. Sometimes she will be having back-to-back treatments and the guests wouldn't find her. They will leave her a tip at the reception, and it was not just a small tip. It was something like 3,000 Qatar riyals. 3,000 Qatar riyals converted to Kenyan shillings. That's approximately, we're looking at almost 100,000 Kenyan shillings. That is just a tip, my friend. That is just a tip. This receptionist had never seen such a big tip. she was a bit jealous. Then, as the months passed by, this Wangui, you know what she did? Got herself a car. These small cars, and this other therapist who had been working here for so long could not believe it, as in how? They cannot even afford the Uber taxi fare, and here is somebody who's just a few months and she's already managed to buy a car. So rumors began moving around. You know how they are? Competition. And if by any chance one of the clients, regular clients of one therapist who's around wants to book massage when she's not around, of course the receptionist will not tell the guest to wait for her regular therapist. He will recommend a new one. And the guests will jump on the offer because he in Qatar they always like to try new things. And especially whenever they will try her massage, they will stick by. They will not change. They will now be asking for her. Every time they will be asking for her because they enjoyed her massage. And then, 1 year later, Wangui moved out of the staff accommodation. In Qatar, it's made in such a way that if you're not working for the government, you will most likely be sharing apartments or even rooms. So this one was not finding it comfortable. If her money was so good, her tips were so good, why can't she get herself an apartment? You know what she did? She got herself an apartment in one of the richest, expensive areas in Qatar called the Pearl. She got herself a house, an apartment at the Pearl. The therapist. So she was driving to work, back at home. The other therapists could not stand this. So they began spreading rumors, they were not sure whether it's real or not, that she was having, extra business of taking the clients home for massage. As in, instead of the clients coming to the spa, they will go to her home, and mostly just the male, not the female. This is now the rumor that was spreading, but they didn't have any evidence. But where there is smoke, there is always a fire. So these were the complaints that were going around, but they had no evidence, so there was nothing they will do. They just assumed probably it's jealousy because she's being requested by so many male. But one thing that the receptionist that was there also noted was that Wangui was staying longer in the massage room if she had a male guest. Her massage would extend more than 20 minutes even. But when she had a female guest, her massage was even shorter than either she will finish on time or she will cut it short. Something like that. In fact, an incident happened that one guest complained, how come her massage, there were some guests who really look at their watch from the time they start to the time the therapist stops. They want full compensation for the money they've paid for. So you just don't cut their treatment. So this lady came and complained about that, the guest. And this is when now they began to investigate what's going on. When it's male, it's longer. When it's female, it's shorter. Her excuse was that the clock in the room that she's using had somehow stopped. But how comes it did not stop when the other therapists were there? Only happens with her. And it came to a point that some male guests began refusing to do therapies with the other therapists. They just needed her. Not all, but some men. And it happened that she never had any issue with blacklisted guests. Blacklisted guests are like, if the guest is very notorious, maybe he came for massage, but he's asking for let's say, sexual favors from a therapist, normally it's blacklisted so that he does not come back to that particular spa. That's how things work in the Gulf. You blacklist the guest so that he doesn't come back and you'll have peace. Only well-behaved guests are allowed in five-star spas. But it was interesting that the same guests that other therapists were complaining about, for her she had no issues with them. And the other funny thing is that the ones that the other therapists were not complaining about are the ones that she had issues with. Male guest, sometimes she'll come, oh, he's trying to touch me. Another guest comes, oh, he's disturbing me. Another guest comes, oh, he's asking for my number all the time. So the receptionist was like, what the heck? How comes it's only her that these guests are disturbing? It's like every man is disturbing her. How comes? Well, we will come back to that later. Then, the receptionist's suspicion grew one time when one guest came out of the room and just began walking out. So the receptionist stood up and asked the guest, how was the massage? He said it was very nice and he was still walking away. And then she asked the guest, how would you like to settle your bill? Because the guest had not paid and she was surprised why he's stopping at the desk. The guest said, well, he has given the therapist the money. So, the masseuse, no, the receptionist was a bit surprised. So before the guest would leave, before the guest would drive off, she ran to the therapist and asked if this guy had given him any money, had given her any money. She said, she looked a bit surprised. Then the receptionist told her, he said he gave you 500 reals. She looked so shocked and was like, yeah. And she removed it from the pocket. So the receptionist was wondering how she gave you 500 reals and you just forget like that. You don't bring to the reception. So she just gave out the money without saying anything. 500 reals. Then, one day, just one day, one lady walked into the spa and asked for Wanguyi. Wanguyi. Both names, she knew both her names. Hi, marhaba. I want to speak to this lady named Meriwagui. Okay, the receptionist said Meriwagui. Aiwa, Meriwagui. So the receptionist told her have a seat, and then she called Mary Wangui. Mary Wangui came happily thinking she had a new guest. And guess what? The lady stood up and looked at Mary Wangui in the face and told her, I am the wife of Mr. Blah 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 blah. I will not mention the names here. So Wangui was surprised and looked a bit shocked and looked confused. And so the lady just smiled at her and told her, why don't you just leave the country? You know, the receptionist got more interested, like, what the hell is going on here? So she paid more attention. But Wangui just walked away. So, the guest also just stood up and left, and the receptionist was left perturbed, like, what's going on between these two? Later on, the receptionist tried to find out from Wangui what exactly was going on. What was that? Just what was that between you and the guest? She didn't explain. She just laughed and left, brushed it off and left. And that was it. A guest just walks into the spa, tells you, why don't you leave the country? And you just laugh it off and go like that? Now the receptionist grew even more suspicious. She was now red alert. What exactly is going on here? What exactly is going on here? Then one day, one man walks in, very huge guy, well built, and asks for this Mary Wangui. He wants to book for massage with Mary Wangui. You know, that time Mary Wangui was busy with other clients as usual because she was on high demand. So she was not available at that time. But that man said he will wait. Okay, the receptionist offered him to use the facilities like the spas normally have steams, jacuzzis, saunas. If any gets booked for an appointment, he can use those as he waits. He was very ready to wait. The receptionist offered him another guest, but no, he wanted Wang Guyi. He was ready to wait. Whoa. The receptionist looked at this well-built guy and was like, whoo, he looked good, really. So she took his booking for Wang Gui after the guest that she had and took him to use the facilities. So afterwards, when Wangui finished her normal massage, she looked so exhausted as usual. You know, she's finished her male guest, very exhausted. Funny enough, she did not have so many female requests. Never. Rarely, rather. Unless it was somebody who just booked and but did not request. So came the time for this guest. 15 minutes into the massage, the receptionist heard sirens, police sirens outside the spa. What the hell was going on? She stood and looked outside. There was a police car, and to her surprise, it was female police ladies in the car. Next, guess what happened? It was this huge, built man who had booked the massage for her coming out of the room. Not out of the room alone, coming out of the room with Wangui. And you know how he came out of the room with her? Like this. Or is it like this? I do not know. But she was under arrest. Wangui was under arrest. So there was a lot of confusion. And the receptionist immediately began calling the management and saying, what is happening in the spa? The policeman was leading Wangui into the police car, and now it was a scene. It was a scene to behold. Wangui was not saying anything. She just looked shocked, and sweat was running all over her face. The receptionist had never seen this in her life, and she was wondering what was happening. But you can guess what was happening. You know, the Gulf is not just a place that you can play around with, things like prostitution. Wangui, these money-making people, the tribe really loves money. Kikuyus in Kenya, all right, they love business. But you don't bring such business to the Gulf. Wangui, with her poor skills of massage, had managed to get her clients out of, making a brothel, opening a brothel within a professional spa, five-star spa. She had opened a brothel. That's why she had so many clients. And this does not mean that if a therapist that is a disclaimer. It doesn't mean that if a therapist misuse or whatever has a lot of clients, doesn't mean that she's prostituting. Some are just skilled. They have a very good skill and they have a lot of good customer care, so their customers keep returning. But this particular one had opened a brothel within the spa. All this time, nobody had known that. It was only just suspicion. This was the most exciting part for all the other therapists. They were so excited and happy that their competitor had finally gone, and not gone in a very good way. This guy who had come had been tipped off by some CID who had come before and done the massage with her and asked her to do some things that he was hearing are happening, in which she obliged. So he sent this other guy to go and confirm, who was also undercover police. And that was how her career ended. She was put in the police and deported and blacklisted from the country. So guys, beware when you go to work in the Gulf. This is not just any other country that you can do your bullshit and get away with it. So if you like my content, like, share, and subscribe. And thank you to the new subscribers. Like, share, and let others subscribe. Ciao.